I have 3 hours of video to do today. It's probably going to take me 5 hours. so, so we all understand. I already did this video, The Art of War, Part 6. And there was so much excess content and material that it took 3 hours to produce. 3 hours of one chapter. And I watched it. I go, this sucks. So I deleted it to make it more swift and succinct. This is one of my strengths, by the way. Strengths is that when I realize the dump of information, sometimes some of my other videos have a little too much. I just delete it and undo it again. That was the whole beginning of Kabbalah, by the way. I spent months just dump. It's decent material, but dump, and then finally, I produced something of value. I think it was the video where it was like, if you think you've got a cobra totem, go pet a cobra. That. Because it was the first time I stopped trying to, like, people please. I started being like, deliver the message. Weak points and strong points. Visualize your opportunities. Sun Tzu said, "Whoever is first in the field and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whoever is second in the field and has to hasten to battle will arrive exhausted." So if you're catching up, it's kind of like game over. This was really hard for me to develop a spiritual platform because I thought I was trying to catch up to everybody. Star is 50 years of shaman training, and then she owns dimensional mastery and and this and this and this. And I wasn't really calculating how much they all sucked. That the platform wasn't grounded in reality. It was grounded in delusional insanity of desire instead of virtues, strengths, then equal healthy outcomes. So I'm not here to sell you teleportation. I'm here to create a Gryffindor Nexa. And through that, and that system of virtues, you develop the strength to then go do awesome things. That may include teleportation. It may include other things. It may include things down the line. But I'm not here to sell those things. What I'm here to do is sell Kabbalah. So I had, with the dragons, help with the dragons, creating a platform that was solid, and now everyone else has to abide to the laws and the rules that we set. If you think that the dragons are going to try to play catch up to a bunch of muggle people's brains, or be accommodating humans' desires, you guys are fucking wrong. The dragons are going to set their own games and their own playing field. And they're going to be in control. They're not going to abide by any human's agenda, including mine. Unless mine is like, yeah, let's work together to save a planet. Therefore, the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy. My rules, you guys abide. So that's basically with Zuckerberg, with Facebook. My game, you guys abide. Therefore, the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. So I and the dragons will not abide by ununity consciousness. We will not abide by people hacking through and not playing by the Harry Potter grids we are setting on the planet. For free. We will not play Slytherin. We will play Hufflepuff and higher. Our rules. Reactions in trouble. Decisions in control. So when you make good decisions and you're grounded and you work brick by brick by brick by brick with proper decisions and you take steps, over time you create an empire of knowledge and wisdom, virtue, strength, and intelligence. Brick by brick. When you're playing catch-up, you're always running, making mistakes. You're trying to cheat the system, and then you look cheap. I look cheap right now because I'm swearing in my videos. Man, if I look cheap swearing in my videos, I wonder how many people actually look cheap by all the other crap that they do. Terrify, antagonize, drive away. Antagonize, tempt, draw in. So I sent a series of emails out to healers and psychics that have been working with me for a decade, some for a year, and then I haven't talked to them for 7 years. These emails were to antagonize and terrify some people and to tempt and draw in others. But they were all to antagonize and create a system. It's great when one action, if you put it in a specific list, half of the people it's to entice, and the other half is to slaughter or push or create a boundary. By holding out advantages to him, he can cause the enemy to approach of his own accord. Or by inflicting damage, he can make it impossible for the enemy to draw near. So let's say my series of emails, some of those enemies I want to make friends, so they were more tempting emails to draw them near. And to others, it was to cause damage. If the enemy is taking his ease, he can harass him. Let's say this better. If the enemy is taking ease, I can harass him. If well supplied with food, I can starve him out. If quietly encamped, I can force him to move. Appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. Identify the sources of joy. Destroy them. How to kill a soul. I'm very good at using public perception. So if I'm being attacked in the astral planes, I will publicly out it. I don't out like the one or two little things where I'm shaming them. Maybe I am, but then I do it in mass. So it's less harsh. I could strengthen my attack because my platform is humanitarian and strength and righteous. So if I'm being attacked in the astral planes and if I have to out you to get you to stop attacking me, boy, that's low-level consciousness. I should be able to send one email and one email only and have 10 hours of work be done on that issue. Clearly and concisely. That is what is expected. I will give you one story. I did not want to do this. I'm going to give you one story at the Dome. Christmas time. Christmas. Roy and I are setting up Christmas decorations. Okay? It was one of the only days where we were doing something unconventional and fun and playful, setting up Christmas decorations for the party that was coming up. And I was loud and obnoxious because we were playing and having fun, and I was actually rehearsing a rap song for Roy. It was a paragraph of text that we needed to memorize in the Ruskin School for Acting's Meisner technique, and I had turned that paragraph of text into a rap song. So I was illustrating it for Roy as we were getting all the decorations prepared. And Art came in and started aggressively attacking me, like he was a Rottweiler attacking a 3-year-old child. So it was like any source of joy being brought into that house, any sense of fun, play, gratefulness, light, Christmas, anything involved like Christmas spirit, excitement. Nope, dead. Squashed. The level of Tiferet in that house is like highly dependent on visitors coming to receive healing sessions and then paying Star like $2,000 a day. That was the level of Tiferet in the home. It was never actually there. It was only there when people came to receive healing and teaching and brought light and enjoyment to the home. All right. An army, so yeah, they knew how to destroy souls real fast. An army may march great distances without distress if it marches through country where the enemy is not. So this is like me starting the Kabbalah 99 program. Because it's a playing field where there wasn't anybody there. There were no dragon queens that were like Kabbalah teachers. Teresa isn't a dragon queen. So I knew the field, right? So if some Chinese little know-it-all thing starts trying to compete with me with the dragons teaching Kabbalah, like, and then wants to oppose me instead of join my force, like, that would be a hard win. Almost impossible. The only way she could win is if she could steal Lucifer from me. And then also the rest of them. And was of better value and service to the planet, etc., etc. All right, so you can be sure of succeeding in your attacks if you only attack places which are undefended. This is like learning how to move between places. What I would do is move between lineages. So that one lineage couldn't actually grab hold of me to control. Because that's what they do. So I would take both DNA classes, one at the mystery school and then one at the mind lineage. Even though they were completely different. So that the mind lineage couldn't own me in my DNA. And that the mystery school couldn't own me in my DNA. Because that's what they do. So if I remain in between the spaces, between them, because, you know, both of them have been trying to possess people to death on this planet, to suck the life out of them. And the money, and the energy, and the time, because they don't actually care. You can ensure the safety of your defense if you only hold positions that cannot be attacked. So this was me integrating all of those DNA into Kabbalah, which is actually DNA. And nobody can own Kabbalah. Not even the Jews can own Kabbalah. What asshole on this planet thinks that they can own Kabbalah? That's like saying you own the Bible. Unless you're Jesus. Like. Hence, that general is skillful. Hence, that general is skillful in attack, whose opponent does not know what to defend. Most people are going to defend their wallets. Understand that. That's the first thing they're going to defend. It's not going to be the safety or sanity of the people they love. It's going to be their wallets. It's not going to be their health. It's not going to be the planet. I'm going to tell you what I defend. My righteous authority in virtue and held accountable. That's one of the first things I defend. The second is the kids. So if I lose my sense of authority in actual righteousness, I don't mean self-righteousness. I mean an actual karmic law right. If I lose that authority, I get weak. So anytime I anytime I license myself to like buy something out of alignment from the planet, I have to calculate all the karmic consequence because everything produces a vibration. So if I have the highest level of karmic virtue on the planet, then I have the highest level power. So that makes me the boss. So my seed at the bottom of the clippeth is the same thing. It's reflective of the very virtue that I just was talking about. I cleaned up the most karma in hell out of everyone. So I get the Dragon Queen seat at the bottom. Tiamat. So, hence that general is skillful in attack. We did. Charlie wants Charlie wants to acknowledge himself because it was him and Hades and Root and me, etc., etc. Hence, that general is skillful in attack, whose opponent does not know what to defend. And he is skillful in defense, whose opponent does not know what to attack. So anybody attacking any of my righteous authority, that would be the thing to attack. But everybody does that anyway on autopilot in every single thought of theirs all day long. So I'm already prepared for those things. The biggest problem are the kids. So if people are attacking the kids, then I'm like, yeah, well, that's another obvious one they go after, by the way. It's obvious. That's why they do it. Let me attack your kids. All right. Defense is up. Nasty people nearby. Why people drink after work. Okay, so nasty people nearby. And why people drink after work. So, when I was at the Dome, I would have to call Melissa every night, like 2 hours a day. And that was me drinking after work. I don't drink after work anymore. You know what I do? I go for walks. And then I do grids and dragon cleanings. And then I come home and then I do more work. It's a different life. Okay. Insights, advantages, secret sauces. Man, this video is 10 times better than the first one. Oh, divine art of subtlety and secrecy. Through you, we learn to be invisible. Through you, we learn to be inaudible. And hence, we can hold the enemy's fate in our hands. This is that law of attraction kind of thing. There are like 5 of you guys that like watch these videos. And we're up against 8 billion narcissists. So if I'm hard on you guys, I am sorry. Lucifer's also that hard and that to me sometimes, okay? That unconditional severity stick. But what happens is it breaks me down just a little bit and then I budge and then all of a sudden I have like 3 new powers. I don't want to use that as a justification to do that to you guys, but if I do, I'm sorry. Just know that where it's coming from. All right. The point is this. You're all in the club. Period. And we're up against 8 billion. People who would shoot you in the head if you tried to take their iPhones away from them. So you need to understand that our law of attraction, there may be only a few of us, but what that provides is ultimate secrecy against those 8 billion. Yeah, we're not popular, thank God. Insights, advantages, secret sauces. Yeah, Star doesn't want to actually take my Kabbalah class. Thank God. She's not actually invited to. So that would require, work. You may advance and be absolutely irresistible. If you make for the enemy's weak points, you may retire and be safe from pursuit if your movements are more rapid than those of the enemy. So this is kind of like the email chain I just sent out. The emails were like, boom, 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 and done. Last email. Swift moves, weak targets, staying ahead and alive. So think of it like the quick demon, but it's the quick angel. Go in and get out. Boom, 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 boom. Done. Point made. If we wish to fight, the enemy can be forced to an engagement, even though he be sheltered behind a high rampart and a deep ditch. All we need to do is attack some other place that he will be obliged to relieve. So this is just like I said before. I use public perception to cut them off from their source of hiding places, to bring it into the light. So people like Zuckerberg, let's use Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's place where he likes to relieve. Okay, most people, this is most people. I want to feel like a hero and have my cake and eat it too, even at the, always, I don't care about the expense of other people, okay? So I immediately cut them off from ever thinking that that was acceptable. Mark Zuckerberg is going to be a muggle around a bunch of witches and wizards so he can realize how he fucked up. If we do not wish to fight, so he doesn't get the public approval, if we do not wish to fight, we can prevent the enemy from engaging us, even though the lines of our encampment be merely traced out on the ground. All we need to do is throw something odd and unaccountable in his way. Okay. I'm going to tell everybody that Elijah is the reincarnation of Osiris. A bunch of psychics and healers. And that they have to fix him. That they have to fix him. Odd. Out of nowhere. Game changers, aka kids these days. I always feel Elaine come in when I point this out. Like she understands that completely. Intriguing and different. So this is like throwing like interesting ideas into the mix. This was also my entire hunger strike. It was like odd and out of nowhere, you know? Like nobody saw that coming. That's where you produce some of the best magic. When you can create and not be stuck in logical analysis all day long, and you're self-situated and have a lot of good self-esteem, like you can do big things. By discovering the enemy's dispositions and remaining invisible ourselves, we can keep our forces concentrated while the enemy must be divided. We can form a single united body while the enemy must be split up into fractions. Hence, there will be a whole pitted against all the narcissisms, pitted against the separate parts of a whole, which means that we shall be many to the enemy's few. So it's like all the narcissistic lineage holders, all the muggle-charmed assholes, everybody who's like too dumb to start buying into collective intelligence. Sorry. That was the game you guys made. That was the game you guys made. You guys wanted to be rich, famous, and movie stars and like lineage holders instead of part of a team. And then everybody forgot to lead with integrity. So that's pretty easy to undermine. And what we do is we collect everybody who's already on board for unity consciousness and then uplift and join them. And then it's us against all the assholes. Now, here's the secondary component. If I am the asshole, I have like 0 karma. And 0 karma on the planet and an 8th house nexa. I wonder, do I have an 8th house nexa ticket or an 8th house nexa pass? Pass. I've passed it. So you guys are the assholes until you pass that nexa. So it's something you guys have to acquire with Mother Earth. I am not a part of that at all. You have to like sell your soul to the planet forever. Like, so it's like saying, I am not separate from this planet at all. I am all Avatar, like Avatar-y. Not Avatar as like Korra-esque, but like Avatar as in Jake Sully-esque. All right. Strength, full silos. Information, grain. So Having an 8th house nexa is a full silo and strength. So one is a goal to achieve, but it's also the strength that you get after you've achieved it. Let me repeat that. It is something to aspire to. And once you get it, it provides you a windfall of power and foundation. Because now you're 100% in with Mother Earth and Mother Andromeda and their 8th house nexus system across the universe. So now you're like, yeah, I am Moses. Okay? Like that. And you feel that power come through, and that's what's supporting you. Whereas, like, a bunch of individuals that haven't earned their place on this planet are the few. Okay. If we are able thus to attack an inferior force with a superior one, our opponents will be in dire straits. So we need that kind of superior force. So like that's being on the dragon side, that's being on the 8th house nexa system side, like that's being on the fairies side. The fairies are the 8th house nexa. Like that's the gist. So knife, gunfight, and it says shoddy intelligence work. So if you haven't made your decision of how you're going to approach the battlefield and you get stuck in between a knife fight and a gunfight, then that was not clever. That was bad preparation and bad work. So if you know everybody this, people are not separate from their astral selves. Let me repeat that. People are not separate from their astral selves. Let me repeat that. People are not separate from their astral selves. Let me repeat that. People are not separate from their astral selves. Let me repeat that. So if the Dalai Lama is raping you in the astral plane, it's because the Dalai Lama is a rapist. People are not separate from their astral selves. A lot of time people are mixed in between, but their shadow is so significant you can barely get into their light side to get them to clean up the problems. This is how I know I can ascendio people versus not, by the way, is by how I feel them in the astral planes. That's their magic body. The spot where we intend to fight must not be made known, for then the enemy will have to prepare against a possible attack at several different points. And his forces being thus distributed in many directions, the numbers we shall have to face at any given point will be proportionately few. Let me read that again. The spot where we intend to fight must not be made known. So it's always the astral. But then we need playing fields. So we didn't know that the spot we were fighting for was the bottom of the Clippeth. And that if we could own it for Gryffindor, and it's a we, it's not just me. If we could own it for Gryffindor and Ravenclaw, that we would win. For then the enemy will have to prepare against a possible attack at several different points. So nobody knew that it was going, they were like, higher self-activations, money, fame. Like, they had all these agendas that would make them a star or an alpha or ascendio instead of like what is required. And that lack of intelligence shows up. And his forces being thus distributed in many different directions, the numbers we shall have to face at any given point will be proportionately few. So I had to battle like 30 people for the bottom of the Clippeth on a planet of 8 billion. 30. Because nobody knew that that was the seat. We do now. If you guys knew that now, you'd be down here like doing God's work. Like, you guys would have impeccable root chakras. You'd be free and willy. Like, you'd be doing things, you know? The art of competition in this is like, have no karma. The only way to own the seat at the bottom of hell is to have no hell within yourself. So you have to have no karma to be able to maintain the seat at the bottom of hell. You have to be like, one, I can bring other people down here. So I can invite all the Gryffindors and all the Ravenclaws, and we can own it like a team and fun and a friend. And then it's like, and then Elijah's still knife raping in the bottom of the Clippeth. Because he hasn't fixed himself yet. Or still sending knife rape. But then he changes it to honeycomb goo because he's sorry. So he's past the Hufflepuff Nexa, and his first days in Hufflepuff, which is basically still Slytherin. Like, we want these people to cook for a year. A year. Some people we want them to cook for 2 years. 2 years in Hufflepuff, and then make it on the last month into Gryffindor. So that they're like, yeah, that's acceptable. That's like, and then they can enter Gryffindor. All right. Lack of focus, divided teams. Imminent bankruptcy. Lack of focus. Divided teams. We cannot be a divided team. The cherubim the Ravenclaws, or the Gryffindors, the Ravenclaws, and the Hufflepuffs, and anything higher and above, need to be united. Period. And then we have all the little gnomies, the gnomie peoples. They're like the little hobbits. And they're like the Malkuth level angels, and that's nice. They're nice. And we're all a team. And we protect and guide them. And send them love. Okay. 10 more pages to go, so I'm going to go really fast. For should the enemy strengthen his van, he will weaken his rear. Should he strengthen his rear, he will weaken his van. Should he strengthen his left, he will weaken his right. Should he strengthen his right, he will weaken his left. If he sends reinforcements elsewhere, he will everywhere be weak. Stress, multitasking, burnout. So this is probably the hardest thing to do, is to create balance. So I strengthen my videos, I weaken my art. I strengthen the Art of War videos, I weaken my Dragon Egg videos. I strengthen my Gryffindor, I weaken my Ravenclaw. But I don't. Because now Kelly's Ravenclaw. Because now Kelly has to temper and find a space of non-hypocrite. So I don't weaken. I strengthen my Gryffindor, and I strengthen my Ravenclaw. Okay? So if we can find intelligent ways to do it, we do it that way. So, I strengthen my content. I weaken the amount of content and the time around it. So what's the best balance point for you? I strengthen one relationship. I might weaken another. And maybe I make it stronger. So how do I do that? Now your enemy usually does not think like that. So you strengthen your lower selves. Strengthen your higher selves. And you start at the bottom. And we go brick by brick by brick in a balanced way. Burnout. Burnout happens when you're trying to do it too much. Or when you're trying to do it too much too fast. So if you get sick of me, why are you perpetuating your own sickness of me by giving too much too fast? Why don't you draw it out over 5 months or 6 months? Numerical weaknesses come from having to prepare against possible attacks. Numerical strength from compelling us compelling our adversary to make these preparations against us. Knowing the place and the time of the coming battle, we may concentrate from the greatest distances in order to fight. We will be battling for this planet. And it will be against everybody who's being pre-muggled. And we're going to find a way to take care of them, the good ones, and figure out a better way, the best solution to deal with the rest. That's the coming fight. It's going to be the people that think they're entitled to go to the grocery store and take home an entire basket of food and empty the shelves just for themselves. Simplify, organize, schedule. How to win before you fight. I don't get why the computer keeps tapping out. I keep pressing a button or dropping my book on the computer, but regardless. If neither the time nor place be known, then the left wing will be impotent to secure the right. The right equally impotent to secure the left. The van unable to relieve the rear, or the rear to support the van. How much more so if the furthest portions of the army are anything under 100 li apart, and even the nearest are separated by several li. So the biggest thing is this, is that we will know the coming onslaught of what is to transpire, and everybody else will be left to be at the mercy of our authority and able to handle human needs and relations. Confidence, cohesion, clarity. Though according to my estimate of the soldiers of UA, exceeding our own in number, that shall advantage them nothing in the matter of victory. Let me read that again. Even if the soldiers exceed our own in number, so even if it's 7.5 billion muggles against 5 million masters, we will be able to handle them. To secure a healthy and stable ecosystem on the planet. I say then that victory can be achieved. Deadly poison and strategic underdogs. You see this? Efficient, powerful, small. So even this, 5 of us, 6 of us, 7 of us, working together, can harness 5 million masters. Though the enemy be stronger in numbers, We may prevent him from fighting. Scheme so as to discover his plans and likelihood of their success. So this, how well you know someone, how easy it is to hurt them, so when you know people, you know their weak points. When you're psychic and when you're a master, you really know their weak points. You just see their body or their root chakra or their sacral chakra or their third eye or this or this or this or this. And you know where to attack. You see that they are injured on the right foot and you can stomp on it and lay a deadlier blow real fast. It helps when you're a yoga teacher and you can see every single problem on a person's body and like have been trained on how to fix and correct it because you know exactly where their weak points are. And then when you're in the heat of battle, you can see the same thing, but now you know what to attack. Especially if they're coming after you. Usually, or the kids. Contrast, compare, critique. Prepare for debates and battles. Okay. Prepare for debates and battles. People's logical analysis is usually flawed. Their debate system is under an idea that there are always two sides to the same story. That God supports one side and the other side equally. So people's context frame of references is usually completely flawed. One of the best downloads for this was in Newsroom, where you see Emily Mortimer's character at the conference table giving an education to Jeff Daniels and the team about truth and fallacy. It's probably one of the most well-written pieces about context and education and intelligence and truth. You can always attack somebody's truth because rarely do they have any. They will always attack your truth all day long because they also don't have any. And they don't know that that is what will last and maintain through centuries and ages. It's kind of a cosmic joke. The stronger your truth, the stronger your Hode grid. So the stronger your right foot is, okay? The stronger your truth, the stronger your bat swing. So your bat swing isn't about the arms. It's the hips. So more truth is more oomph. This is why it's like, I don't like to lie like ever at all. It weakens me. And then I'm always second guessing anything and everything. When I've done the honest work, or I'm honest about my work, I go, surrender, now I can give it to God. Rouse him and learn the principle of his activity or inactivity. Force him to reveal himself as to find out his vulnerable spots. Carefully compare the opposing army with your own so that you may know where the strength is superabundant and where it is deficient. So know all your enemy's virtues and vices, if you can. Actual ones, not fake ones. Don't do the fake ones. And then, so get the actual virtues and the actual vices of your enemy. It's easier when you're clear yourself about what you actually have and what you actually are flawed in. And it will look in the genomes, like you'll see in your genomes, like where you are and then where your enemy's at. Then it calculates and it logically makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't logically make sense and you need to deal with it. Carefully compare the opposing army with your own so that you may know where strength is superabundant and where it is deficient. Your strengths are in your virtues and where it is on the tree. Now, also remember, also calculate where your enemy thinks. Like if you know this is where you really know your enemy, where your enemy thinks that they're strong. Your enemy thinks that you're strong, and so they'll attack it. Or you can thinks that where they're strong, and then you can attack that. All right. In making tactical dispositions, the highest pitch you can attain is to conceal them. Conceal your dispositions, and you will be safe from the prying of subtlest of spies, from the mechanizations of the wisest brains. So right now I'm feeling like military coming in and being like, yeah, you need to learn how to conceal your dispositions. How victory may be produced for them out of the enemy's own tactics. That is what the multitude cannot comprehend. Intense study, strategizing. And then we go, the heavy lifting done behind the scenes. So even if I announce my dispositions, if too many people get in the way or I'm under attack because of them, what seems to happen is God provides an out. I need to get to the point where I don't need that ever. So that's a law I need to understand a lot more clear. The problem is because I'm a teacher and I'm trying to publicly announce an ascension for 5 million people. I'm caught between a rock and a hard place of what I'm going to reveal and what I'm going to keep inward. All men can see the tactics whereby I conquer. But what none can see is the strategy out of which is evolved. Do not repeat the tactics which have gained you one victory, but let your methods be regulated by the infinite variety of circumstances. Okay. So let's talk about survival and reinvention. Boom, boom. So let's say a military professional thinks they're more qualified to be the leader of Gryffindor. Globally, worldwide. And they wish to compete with me or take my seat. Okay? They want to take my seat as Kamael. They would have to have the appropriate qualifications. And usually, if they do, now we have a team. Now there are 2 or 3 of us. Now, if they tried to attack my seat without being able to perform the duties, they'd be out of alignment of unity consciousness and instantly labeled Slytherin. That's a Slytherin behavior, possessiveness and jealousy over a seat in which it's unqualified. They'd also have to have all the permission from the dragons and be able to work with them. Which would... So they need all of these things. Okay, so I don't mind if super qualified people come to the table, because then we have a solid team and I can maybe take a 5-day vacation because somebody else can come to the table and hold the job responsibilities required for this position. So because they are uneducated in the level of the magics that have to come through the dragons, like then they think because of their military background that they may be more qualified, but without having all the dragon stuff. Or the bedside manner in working with the dragons. Okay. They'd also have to have the level of nuanced ability to be able to work with all the Hufflepuff healers and shove their Gryffindor shit down healers' throats without becoming a tyrant and oppressive like a Hitler. So there's that component too. Because you can't take a Hufflepuff and go, do this, Gryffindor. You're like, you can't do it. Hufflepuffs are not the same. They're not the same breed. So there's that. Military tactics are like unto war, for water in its natural course runs away from high places and hastens downwards. So in war, the way to avoid what is strong and strike at what is weak. For the most part, I see a lot of weakness in almost everything and everybody, except in sheer like numbers and money, and like I see their strength in their evilness. I see very little actual strength in them. Their bodies aren't strong, their minds aren't strong, their emotions aren't strong. They're confused and all over the place. Their astral bodies are projecting this, and this dimension, and they can't even perform they can't even do their own email blasts. They have to hire it out. They have zero independence. They can't do their own graphic design. They have very little talents. So all of these things provide huge codependencies on others and other systems. When you develop codependencies like that, lack of self-reliance, in any capacity, you develop weaknesses. So avoid the strong. So the people like Star and the Dalai Lama should be avoiding attacking me. I am well-versed, well-researched. I have a team. We are incredibly psychic and talented. And we have all the dragons. And they don't have any. Avoid the strong, keep moving. This is also like, avoid the cops right now. It's great doing all the spiritual work. It's great. Don't throw your magic in cops' faces. They're all like Slytherins that need to get muggled. Almost all of them. Not all of them, but almost all of them. Target the weak. When going to the battlefield, you need to take in a survey of all of the key. Who are you battling? What are you battling? For how long? What's their strengths? What's their weaknesses? What are, and how do I target all those weaknesses? It's better when you make lists and consciously do it, or unconsciously do it. War should not be drawn out. That's drama. War should be boom, 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 done. In America's Super Nanny, that's her biggest strategy, is just take all the technology away. And instantly it provides an entire new paradigm. Boom, 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 done. Stay on top of the food chain. Sign up with the dragons and the planet. And the whales, like, sign up. And then, like, and the trees, you know? Sign up. And they go, yeah, that was stupid to be against that. Who can modify his tactics in relation to his opponent and thereby succeed in winning may be called a heaven-born captain. The 5 elements, water, fire, wood, metal, earth, are not always equally predominant. The 4 seasons make way for each other in turn. There are short days and there are long days. The moon has its periods of waxing and waning. There is always a time and a place, always a weather and a season. I made the idea that the Dalai Lama and Star would understand their season and try and let go of their power grasping to make way for new millennial generations of magic and light and love and fun. But no, they are so old, bitter, and evil, they clung to a system to the point where they spent 3 months attacking me instead. Success is with adaptability. Boom. So let's see. I see Kelly coming on. I also see the Tara coming up. And I'm like, this is just competition. I don't want to be butting heads with the Tara. She's too good. So she needs to own her own house. Like, Stacy needs to own the 5th house. Like, you guys need to own houses. All right? Like, my adaptability is freeing you into power and ownership. Because you guys are dragons. And all you're going to do is, like, burn me down if I don't, you know? Seriously. But in good spirit. Non-possessiveness and that kind of adaptability. Me going, Kelly understands Ravenclaw. Dude, go, you know? That equals success. Collie Wren out.